Hey guys, welcome to the Artisan channel, and today I kind of have a special device right in front of me. This is the Retro Cm3. I'll show it off just after I unpack it. It is a Raspberry Pi 3 computer module based handheld, so it runs RetroPie. I've already tested a device that runs RetroPie, but it was quite a disappointment for the price. This was $200 and it ended up being a screen tearing mess. This device actually did not have a interesting box like the all other handhelds that I reviewed, but it just came in a cardboard box, which is not a problem at all as long as the handheld is good. What's inside the cardboard box is a headset, which is nice that they added that for the people that don't have a headset. It's not the best quality, as I can feel right now. A micro USB charging cable. I hoped for a USB Type-C charger, but this will do. And a kind of user manual. I hope it's in English as well. Let's just check it out. Yes, it does have English. I'll be reading this later on because RetroPie, it's quite advisable that you read your user manual at least a little bit for some extra controls and customizations when gaming. And apparently I got a nice toy with it. What is this? I don't know, but you know, okay, I take it. That's some horrible Tetris right there, but you know, that's not the main aim of this video anyways. Now for the main star of the video, the Retro Cm3. They said that this is tempered glass. And all of them come with a pouch, and I think they claim that there is 150,000 games on here, which is crazy actually. I never really care about that, but that's a crazy number of games. So it's nice that they added a pouch in here to protect the analog stick and stuff like that. This is it compared to a PSP. It's thicker, but less wide. I can compare it as well to the RG350 over here. It's almost the same width. It's also almost as thick as it. Now let's check out the device from the exterior. First impressions holding it, it's very sturdy. This device has no flex. It has a tempered glass screen lens. Not much inputs and outputs, to be honest. Here you have a small ventilation grill for the heatsink. This is the speaker grill. It has a singular mono speaker. Now first we'll test some PS1, Neogeo and PSP games, and after that I'm going to talk about how the buttons feel and the notices that I have about the handheld, some settings that I would like to change. If you want to move along to my notices and insight, you can move to this timestamp right over here.
Must be pretty busy with everyone off base. Off base? Wait, haven't you heard? There's been a mass desertion at Soldier.
Activating combat mode.
Bring it on!
Gauntlet resolved.
Now let's test out some Super Nintendo. Now, first thing I'd like to check is the screen quality. The screen quality is very nice and very vibrant, and the viewing angles are terrific, are really great. And yeah, because this is an IPS display and a very good one at that. I think that this handheld gets misunderstood for is that it has a lack of control, but it does have a lot of control actually. When you press select, for example, and use the D-pad, you can turn up the volume by up and down. If you press left and right, you can change the save state slot. Here is the save button on the right trigger, and the load button is on the left trigger, as you can see over here. Now, another thing you can change is the brightness by pressing the power button for a short period a couple of times. Like this, you can change the brightness. Now, another thing that I'd like to show you is that you can even go more in depth with the settings by pressing select and X. You can go to settings. A setting that you need to change right off the bat is recommended to do that is Billionaire Filtering. You need to turn that on. By default it's turned off, and if you have that turned off it makes things look a little bit blocky. If you turn that on, everything is fine. Now, another thing that I'd like to change is the aspect ratio. Right now it's 1:1, but I want to change it to 3:2 because that's the aspect ratio of this handheld, and it's a perfect aspect ratio for Game Boy Advance games. And also looks quite good on 4:3 aspect ratio games. And then you can go back like this. Now let's go test out some gameplay, and I can tell you a little bit about how I feel about the buttons and the feel of the handheld. A thing that I do notice already right off the bat is that the speaker grill is kind of in an awkward position. You can cover it easily with your fingers while playing. There is no screen tearing that I can notice from all the testing that I've done. It's working perfectly fine. Speaker can get very loud. Very loud. Too loud for its own good. So you have to turn it down to a bearable setting. The ABXY buttons feel very good. Nothing wrong with that. The D-pad is kind of on the stiffer side, but I've tested some very smooth D-pads in my game handheld testing career, I would say almost. And I would say that this is one of the better ones. It definitely will not affect your gameplay. It has as well a PS Vita analog stick. As you can see, it's a very smooth one. And yeah, it's a 3D type, not a slider type. So it's better to use the pouch provided. Thankfully, the pouch is very slim, so you're just having a very portable package. The analog sticks can be used for these types of games as well as Nintendo 64 and PSP games, stuff like that. It has a lack of buttons, but still enough buttons to play PSP games and some Nintendo 64 games with some configuration changes. For example, you can set your C keys to the D-pad in certain games that don't use the D-pad, and then you'll be fine. Now, another thing that you need to know is there is a way to hook this up to the Wi-Fi and transfer your ROMs from your PC via Wi-Fi over to this handheld, as well as change some settings using SSH. How you can do that is, first things first, you go to show IP to check if your Wi-Fi is turned on at all. So my Wi-Fi is right now turned off and I want to turn it on. How am I going to do that? Just go back and then press 2 times quickly after each other. And then Wi-Fi will turn on. And you can check that by going to show IP once again. And then you see WLAN over here. Now after you've done that, what you're going to do is you take the SD card out of your handheld and plug it into your PC. And then you go to the boot partition of your SD card. And then in the root of that boot partition, you have a file called Wi-Fi key file.txt. Now you open that with Notepad. You have 2 lines. The first line is SSID and the second line is PSK. Now the SSID is the name of your internet router, for example, D-Link something. And then you type that in there, as well as the PSK between quotes, both of them. You type your password between quotes and your ID between quotes. So, and after that you save the file and put the SD card back into your handheld. Then you can go back to Wi-Fi. Since you don't have a keyboard, you'll have to do it in this way. And go to Wi-Fi. No. And then import Wi-Fi credentials from boot Wi-Fi key.txt. Now in this way, you'll have Wi-Fi working just fine, as you can see over here. And then that is that. You can just use SSH and put the remote configuration and stuff like that easily. And this handheld generally is good for first-time users because it has a lot of games already pre-installed, 15,000 games pre-installed, and the configuration is well configured and you don't need to change much. And another thing, it is also good for hobbyists. You can change a lot of settings and customize a lot of things. You can add emulators like Dreamcast and Nintendo DS and stuff like that, and change some emulators if you want. Now I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.